Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to another exciting episode of Survivor Hero Island. This is the 12th and last of the regular season races featuring Rosa, the irrelevant hero, as it were. And this episode is titled Date Night because Rosa is getting started off with Kane. Kane is very excited. I'm in the booth here with Radio Caller doing the restream of our VOD review. We've got uh, Joker Mage in the booth with me on comms, and we have Rhythm doing the tracking. You're doing tonight, Joker Mage.
I'm doing really well. I'm looking forward to this. Like the flags itself seems interesting, but more interesting is that starting party, the date night, as you called it, because we've got uh, the purportedly best white mage in Final Fantasy IV, along with Mister Average. So that's a pretty decent starting party that can get you through a lot of early like checks and stuff, and it shouldn't be. I'm not haven't been keeping up entirely. How many of our characters are not completely out of the seed now?
There are six gone. There are six remaining. The possible choices for this seed are going to be Rosa and Kate, obviously, because we've already mentioned them. They will also have the choices of Yang, Palom, Fu, and Edge. Those are the six we can see.
Okay, so apart from Yang, that's a pretty decent party that you could put together.
True, true. Although it does give a little bit of a flavor to ordeals because there's nobody in the party who benefits from ordeals other than Fu and his spells, and Fu is restricted. It's not going to show up until later, or possibly not at all if he's someplace really, really rude.
Yeah, so
Uh,
what you're saying is there's a possibility that Ordeals is going to have all of the answers, and it'll be fun seeing how long they put that off.
exactly, because we do not currently have the sorry, the free key item is still on. Bedward is still on here, so as a result, what I think about this is Um, there's no reason to go boss hunting either because there are no bosses in the quest pool. There's no demons to hunt, and there's also no pass in this seed either. The racers have actually gone the whole season without taking the bargain. The rule was if you wanted the pass, you had to take the demons hunt. Nobody's wanted to do it so far.
Yeah,
So
I'm guessing they just all decided that they'd rather spend the time talking to Bedward rather and then walking down the LST rather than trying to find Demas hiding possibly at the very end of LST.
there's also just the mystery of what exactly did Edward bump into during his odyssey down the sea and get stuck with in the bed. Um, as far as the quests go, I mean, we have gotten up to 8 quests now. Four of them are basically fixed for Rose's quote unquote quest, which is the Forge, which is everybody. Complete the Tower of Zot, which Kane is big factors into that too. The Ribbon Altar because frozen ribbons, and getting the pan because again, the pan just seems themed to the whole idea of a date night. We want to make supper.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else is there to say about the flag set? So,
Well,
let's
what
see.
I find interesting is there's not really like too much of like a real easy routing for some of these because you don't have like in the normal sort of situation you might want to do Zot into Cave Magnus into Baron, like those three are sort of linked together because of where you end up as part of those quests. But the only one of those that are actually here is Zot. So there's not a lot of the objectives sort of tie in really well with each other, from what I can tell at least.
True, because the random ones that rolled today, as we can see from the thing that are down there, is you've got burning the village of Mist. Well, that's a dead end quest, anyways. Destroy the super cannon. Uh, complete the sealed cave, which there's no warp glitch on, so you even get a peek of what's down there. Then defeat the king of the town of monsters. That could be punchy and nasty depending what it is. And of course, it also has no key item because summons are not on in this particular flag set, although the boxes are. So, you could have a hook hiding somewhere kind of nasty like that. It is a forced hook route. Max party size is 4. If you say goodbye to a character, they're gone for good, although it's down to 6. You might see them again. So, still on
So
Wildish loot, max tier 6.
yeah, so there is possibly some debate on whether or not you're going to take that young. I guess it is not. It's not perma joined though, so you can always toss him later. But um, at the same time, you probably, he's not necessarily the top pick for a lot of people.
This is true. And the other thing that works against Yang too is experience is what makes him powerful. And in this particular flag set, we don't have the ability to use sirens, buy them, or even get experience from them because XP is on. And I believe we have also, you can't slingshot because there's not 5 people in the party. So we have turned on all of the things to make this a little bit harder to get levels on this thing. And we're gonna get a random kit here somewhere too, because random kits seem like they're kind of fun.
And do we already know what that random kit is?
I do. We'll find out shortly though. It's we'll see it.
I'm going to leave it as a surprise.
Leave it as a moderate surprise. If you've read the spoiler log that I put up for every one of these races, you already know what it is, but way to spoil it for the audience now if they've come this far.
Yeah, and we're probably going to start shortly anyway, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get started. I think at this point, we've blathered enough about the wonderful flag set here, which our races have chosen all of their own punishments. So if this seems punishing, remember the races did this to themselves, and they had much nicer choices available. They just chose not to take them. All right, so here we have our date night setting up. You've got a lovely CPU handing out an apple from the parent thing. We've got 50 bestiaries is our random kit.
Okay, those are very useful.
Yes, if you want to launch knowledge at somebody or have a paperweight on your desk, they're very useful. Combat-wise, not really. They're just gonna be a little bit of money if we need some cash.
Yeah, how much do those sell for?
I think the whole set might be like 2,500 gold. It's not much.
Okay, so as we said, it was Rosa and Kain starting. Again, that still is a pretty decent start as far as your characters go. And we do see some divergence.
Yeah, the 2 favorite places to start looting, either in Edlin Castle, find out where the boxes are, and Davesian Castle, which is a lot of free stuff in very tight quarters.
But of course, we're just targeting the ruined castles.
Ooh, I see a white spear on Narocod's side. That's very useful for that Kain.
Yeah, that's a really excellent start. And a reset on Modic's side?
Yep, because found the first of the monster boxes.
Oh, right. Yeah, so he's...
Yeah, vanilla boxes aren't on, so when you take the Edlin path, you're going to run into those 3 most likely, unless you get very lucky into the last 3, which is very, very unlikely to happen. So...
Now, these are the normal flags, not beta flags, right?
Yeah, we're still on 4.5 with these.
So there is still going to be a higher chance of value in Edlin.
Yes, even though we've lowered the max tier to 6, so it's not as high a value as it could otherwise be, but yes, it is still wildish with the old settings.
So we're going to see our first look at a potential new party member here at Mount Hobbs.
Yeah,
as well as
that...
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say as well as what boss we have to get through to get that party member.
Yep, and Kain got a nice weapon for him. We don't really have much in the way of defense for him yet, so back row him anyways, and hope the jump will take care of things. Or we can just use a white spell, because the white spear will do that. And it's a Palom, useful, and it's a 100 dolls. Well, we have some items to take care of that. Let's see, Zeus Rage should probably do it, or Grimoire.
Like yeah, so we're going to play the Grimoire lottery and get a Mist Dragon. That does the trick, though.
Yes, it does. These dolls don't have very much by themselves. Split experience, but, you know, at this level, we're not really counting. If it's Ice 2 on Palom, that's enough of a start.
Yeah, and that's a pretty decent start to getting a black mage to pair up or with the Mr. Average and the white mage.
Yeah. So, Maddox is going to wrap up this trip through the Dublin Castle. It's found an Ogre Axe. I mean, it's been okay. Drain Spear, which would be nice for that edge to dart when we find edge. Nerocod, meanwhile, is going to go over and take a look at the Antlion Cave.
Yeah, I think Neurocod came off better in that divergence. That white spear is extremely useful.
Ooh, there's a curse ring just sitting right here in the Antlion Cave. Who left that laying around? My goodness.
I mean, when the Antlion was moving to the moon, it probably just left some stuff that forgot to get the movers to bring.
I understand having an Antlion and a curse ring, but oh well. Speaking of things that got left behind, this water hag was left behind, and it's going to be for this world.
Yep. So we got a bit of a cutscene on this end, but fortunately, that cutscene is punctuated by cuts from the swords and spears.
Although Palom misses and Rosa misses too. Everybody's back road, so accuracy is a little bit lacking here.
Yeah, it is going to slow down this because, again, it is just a pretty fixed cutscene, but it still shouldn't be too terrible of a fight to get through.
Yep, Matic finds a flame spear in the chest right below where the dolls were. Nerocod is through the water hag. And for the effort, it gets rewarded with a crystal helmet. Not useful because no Cecil in the sea. It's just money. But that curse ring is worth the trip down here for sure, because Rosa, she's not the fastest, not the slowest, but if there's a really nasty fight somewhere in a fast spot, give her a curse ring and slow her down a little bit.
Yeah, this is, Final Fantasy IV, so agility manipulation is the word of the day.
There's a second curse ring literally right next to the first one. As if one curse ring wasn't enough.
Is there ever a time where you might need to curse two characters, or is that second one just going to be more money?
It's just more money. I mean, only in Omni would you ever consider using two, and -30 to everybody's stats would be kind of punishing in most cases. Nerocod is going to meanwhile check out Baron, do some shopping, finds the life potions. I don't know with the cheap folks, prices going up sometime soon.
Has not sold that second curse ring, but did sell the bestiaries.
Well, now we don't know what any of the monsters have for stats. Darn. Too bad there's no online guides you can go to look up all that information, right?
Yeah, I know, it's always hard just trying to guess at what those numbers are.
I found an elven bow here in the Baron Inn. Also finds there is a Yang in his vanilla spot, having tea with an Ashura this time around.
Now, is this going to be a double vanilla Yang and we have to fight karate here, or is it going to be something else?
Well, I did race the sea. I don't have to remember what that actual result was. We'll find out.
Okay, Matic is also through the Antlion Cave and also has that nice piece of resell.
Yes. Rose is being left in the middle spot, which does hurt the aim command because it overflows accuracy in this spot.
And you don't need to leave her in the middle because she is the hero, so she will always be the agility anchor.
Yes, which means that putting her in the 4 or 5 slot and leaving the other 3 in the back row is a pretty viable strategy at this point. For sure goes down with the jump. Easy peasy.
Yeah, this first fight is usually not too difficult unless it's the exact wrong matchup.
Well, it's not a vanilla Yang. It is a very nasty-looking D-Lunar fight here. Down goes Palom. That White Spear is not too bad, but it's not great either.
And Rosa is down.
Yeah, and Kane is... Ugh. Fortunately, Kane doesn't have a lot of power here either.
Yeah, this just doesn't feel like it's a good matchup at this point.
Oh, one
Let's take one down.
There are vampires for sale here in meanwhile, on Maddox's screen. And unfortunately, it's white for Neurocod. It's just a little early for that.
Those vampires can help get through some of the early fights, I think, right?
Yeah, and there's also Illusions, Starveils, and Torrages for sale in as well.
Plenty of utility items for the lower level parties.
Well, we haven't found it as camping gear, which is always a fun thing on this particular flag set. I'm known for trying to go as long as I can without wasting time on shops sometimes, and I've gone whole seasons on any camping gear. It's kind of not fun.
And we have anti-divergence here with simultaneous bedward checks.
Yes, and Matic resets out of the glass helm. I might have wanted to keep that. Although Eddie that must be very painful sleeping on a glass helmet. I can't imagine doing that.
And so far, we've done a few checks, but still no key items.
Yes. Yes, where are the key items hiding anyways? We know we need at least one of them to go underground.
Are they actually on ordeals? Is that what you've done to them?
You seem to think that I roll nasty seeds. Where does this reputation come from? Oh, Kane has a dwarf axe now. That's really helpful for getting back road.
Yeah, and Matic's going to probably get through this Ashura fight relatively quickly and then find the nasty D Lunar fight. We'll see if Matic fares better than Neurocad did.
Depending on how well the armor is going to help out here. That glass helmet would be really kind of nice right about now. Looking. Okay, Cure 2 is not a bad choice. That will get some damage out.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't really use the Toad strategy right now because you need to be able to survive the first punches to get them to that phase.
Although, everybody's still up.
It's about 3,000 health here.
4,000 split even, so they each have 2,000. They're both close to being down, actually, come to think of it. And Neurocaz also found the Dwarf Axe for sale in Troya. Very nice to have that early for the Kane.
Yeah, Matic does it.
So gets a Yang, middling reward. It's a Lunar Staff. The key item hunt continues.
And they are starting to run out of Sphere Zero checks here, though.
Yes. I mean, it is expanded a little bit because we have 4 boxes and we have 4 main locations they can look at. Mount Ordeals, Barren Inn, Antlion Cave, and Fabul Defense. They're down to, at this point, Fabul Defense, Mount Ordeals, and the 4 boxes. I wonder how long it might take someone to go up to the Tower of Zot, because the Zot chest is one of those ones that's a little bit out of the way, and if you find an early Ice Brand or Blizzard Spear, you'll go up there and just check it because you have the weakness that'll kill the dog up there. As we found in some of the tournaments, like petting the dog became quite a meme because the dog always seemed to have value.
Yeah, Potion Party, that was a very common thing to check early on.
Indeed. And for some reason, even though we've had boxes on now for several weeks, I don't think it's really been the play here yet. Maybe the experiences here will change that. Oh, there's a Blizzard item. That would be good enough to go up there and take that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that Blizzard will prompt Matic to check the Flame Dog if this Ordeals doesn't pan out.
If this Ordeals pans out at Pan, I'm going to be laughing at this one.
Yeah, Ordeals is a very involved check, though, because you got 3 boss fights to get through and a bit of a cutscene as well.
True. Although, since we have a Yang with us, Yang will benefit from this because Yang on a hook route without levels is basically not much better than having no character there at all.
And it looks like Nerocat is going for round 2 against Baron Inn, so we'll see if he fares better this time. But meanwhile, the Baron Inn guards have decided to relocate to Ordeals.
Yeah, and yeah, with that Elven Bow, their guards are weak to this, so this could be just one-shots with Rosa here. Otherwise, we did have Mute Bells available, but Rune Axe, Elven Bow, yeah, guards are just melted.
Yeah, there's plenty of answers for those guards.
One of which is not apparently Retreat. And the back attack spot, Ildim.
Okay, so we got some dukes going on. We won't be able to use any elemental attacks, but I think we still have enough damage to get through this, right?
I think we do. I mean, Kane has a Rune Axe, which will be fine. Yeah, taking off lit arrows will definitely help. Power Staff, yeah, it's better. Ooh, Matic just got, or sorry, Nerocat just got turned into a toad by the D-Lunar, and that's another wipe on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks like you called it earlier, and when you said that, it really depended on how their defenses were, because Matic was able to tank a few of those early hits and get enough damage out, whereas once again, we saw Nerocat's team sort of get one-shot by those D-Lunars.
And I think, you have to remind me here, chat, but I think the equipment picked up in Eblan Castles what kind of allowed that. Meanwhile, Chat has talked about making a randomizer called Dangerous Hats for Final Fantasy. Sounds intriguing.
I mean, I'm not sure about dangerous hats, but we do have some dangerous noodles on screen right now. Not for long, though.
Yeah, this noodle has decided that it's just not his day, so going away there. Now we come to the fun part, which is what is Rosa's trial in the mirror going to be today? Matic save beforehand. Yes, chooses to save beforehand. Everything is good. Also put her back in the center slot, which is... if the power staff is on, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah, if you're not going to be using aim, then it doesn't really have that much of an effect.
A slight boost to accuracy, if I remember right, which, early game might help. And we have a key item at last. Let's see. We have a hook. So Ordeals is very required, even though, again, there's very little incentive to come up here. Oh, and apparently it's the date night theme again. Vigan would like to date Rosa now, too.
Yeah, so after getting kicked out of Baron Castle and replaced by an AI, this is apparently where he found new work.
Well, I guess even Lunarians need a little bit of a break from giving ridiculous challenges that are left in legends centuries old they put there themselves.
I mean, I hear there's a lot of demand for Funhouse mirror reflections.
Yeah. Possibly in other variants of Final Fantasy than this one, but Tella's learned Medio, even though Tella is not with us anymore. Cess is a paladin, he's not with us anymore either. And we can go underground. Woohoo!
Yeah, that underground access is the real reward here because it was, the reward.
Yeah, just to clarify, yes, this is a VOD review. This race has already happened, so we're just going over it because, yeah, it's fun.
I mean, we had required ordeals when ordeals shouldn't have been required, so that's already, a win in my book.
It's always fun when the mountain is required because no one likes the mountain.
I like the mountain, but just for other people.
Ah, one of those. We got Vatic checking out Elvira here and finding the elemental claws, ice and thunder. Alright, that could be useful later on. Meanwhile, we have Captain Bacon on the right side with Nerocod trying to get down this Pale Dim.
Yet again, we see that just really low health pool and defense really hurting Nerocad. Palom and Rosa both went down in one hit. Luckily, Piggy's got some defense and is able to pull this off.
Matic, meanwhile, now with the hook in hand, will go and dig up the hovercraft, getting ready to go underground. Or at least park it down there while maybe going back to Evelyn and getting those boxes, or maybe visiting Zot to get that box.
I mean, now the real question is Flame Dog going to be required and how long it will take them to actually find it if it is.
Yeah, and again, since this is 7 out of 8, there is one objective that can be let go, but some of these can obviously change, so we never know which one's going to be the double or the triple or the thing that just hides everything.
Now, if you were the one playing this and you could choose which objective you didn't want to be doing, which one would you not want to do?
Since I did play this seed, my normal preference out of this list would probably be to avoid the king spot. As A, there is no item behind it, and B, that spot is usually going to be fairly nasty.
So while the Mist has a bit of a cutscene, it's also not a really difficult spot.
Right, because you only have to burn the village. You don't have to actually take the character and do the whole cutscene over in Kaifo. And since Sand Ruby is not a thing, we've already got 4 out of the 6 characters have been seen. So, oops, Nerocod took a wipe to Eigen there.
Yeah, I think Nerocad's going to just have a really rough time because his Rosa is just not as strong as Maddox was, and this is a solo fight.
It is solo, and there are 3 things that can whack you here, including one that is a vampire, which ignores physical defenses altogether. That was an Artie bow, wasn't it? Didn't see that. Yeah, it's an Artie bow. Okay. So, Matic is finding power here in Evelyn with the Black Cat chest.
I mean, the also question is that one of these also going to be a key item that will further Maddox's advantage right now.
I think the seed has decided that there are just no key items other than the hook in this whole thing. We haven't seen any of them other than that.
Or decide to put them all underground.
Well, that would just be rude. Okay, Nerocod is through the Baigen. Which, at least because this was the hook, you knew you had to kind of take this fight and not just simply bounce and come back. And Matic has found the Staleman and the Skull.
Probably looking for a decent AoE spell to take them all out at once.
Well, you can use Blizzard, which is the only one available, I think. Not terribly useful because the skulls are kind of weak to the opposite element. Now we're cursing the enemy, or we're cursing Palom, never mind, that's less useful.
Switching over to Power Staff to try and do a bit more damage, I guess.
Yep. Okay, Stalemon is down. That's good. That was that Ogre Axe making some headway there. Because also going to check out Silvira, a little bit of an out-of-the-way check. But, occasionally can have some good things here.
Now, what exactly does the curse status mean for Yang there?
Maybe if chat wants to pull that in, because I've never really dealt with it too often, and I definitely don't know. Let's see. Anyways, Neurocod passed up on the Thunderclaw. Not sure if already has one, but that is useful for taking out the alerts down in Lower Babel pretty quickly, which, since we got the boxes on, means there are 4 key item checks down there. And the Tower of Babel is quite a thing to check.
Yeah, having K-Trap on gives that a lot of value. Or at least potential value.
Along with the possibility of the cheeky tower key in Keyless Tower, which makes it not Keyless Tower.
And Rydia is completely out of the seed, correct?
Rydia is gone, correct.
So that Odin Summon Sphere is completely worthless.
It'll sell for 10,000 gold if I remember right.
Well, it was in a shop, so you don't want to be buying it.
No. Looks like we have Mylon Z here attacking Fabul. So apparently Mylon just got lost, and instead of going south went north. This won't be too bad with the White Spear. That's gonna cook Mylon Z.
Yeah, and Mylon Z is one of those famous Final Fantasy enemies that don't look like they're flying, but actually are.
Yes, because in the early days, they gave Mylon Z the float status to get rid of or to make it not susceptible to Earth. You find a sand ruby here in Fabul, which is interesting. That's exactly a foo. That's kind of worth it. If it's not, then I don't think it's worth much, unless maybe it's an edge.
Well, I don't think Neurocod has gotten through Baron Inn yet, right?
Yeah, it might be the case. I don't know. We'll see if the Yang is in the party next time I look it over there.
In which case,
okay.
Yeah, so that may have more value for Neurocad than it would necessarily for Maddox, who already has 4 characters.
Well, Neurocod is saying yes. Let's see that. Charmrod, meanwhile, over in Evelyn. That was an let's see, that was an Artie Arrow, that was a what was the other thing? Oh, a Pan. Okay, that must be the other thing.
And we got Edge on Neurocad's side now.
Okay, Ninja Online. You'll definitely take an Edge over a Yang any day. At least I would.
Yeah, however, I don't think Maddox's going to do Fabul defense right now. Maybe trying to see if he can find the Pan so he can do a 1-dip Fabul.
Yes, with having the underground access and having the Pan, there's not much reason to do Fabul first. And what's in the Stalemon chest? Great. Okay. I only played the seed a couple days ago. I've already forgotten about it. Give me another week and I'll think I've never played it before. Coffins and Hourglasses here in the Evelyn.
Yeah, a lot of times the gated shops seem to have some pretty decent value.
That's the hope, anyways. You've sold the Beast series. We also found our tents, and we found exits too. Which exit is kind of useful here because Rose is going to learn exit unless we do Zot, and Fu is not guaranteed anytime soon.
Right, and we can't do Zot until we have the Earth Crystal, and who knows where that is. It certainly wasn't on Ordeals, so...
Ooh, Samurai Arrows. Okay, this is a nice set of shops down here. We're going to keep going with Fast Rosa here with the Heroine Robe. And Nerukad is going to try the Baron in again, it looks like.
Now, there was no key item here, right?
There was not. So technically speaking, this Baron Inn is not going to provide any value. I'm pretty sure that Yang is not going to be taking over the 4 we have in the party now.
Right. So it's just a case of Nerukad not having the information about the key item being a dud here.
Yeah. And, you know, as far as party building goes, I mean, if Fu shows up and you've got the party that Nerukad has, who are you dumping for Fu? Personally, I would probably be getting rid of the Palom in this case, but that's just me.
I guess it depends on what kind of strategy you want to be using for the end game. Because if you're going to do like a heavy reflex strategy, having Palom is probably more useful than having Kain. But if you're hoping to do Berserkers, definitely, you know, keeping Kain and Edge would be more advantageous.
It depends on how many dartables I have for Edge, too. If I've got a spoon and an X-Scale sitting in my pocket, that's kind of nice.
I think that's a vanilla Staleman 2 chest.
It is a vanilla Staleman chest. We got off an hourglass on them, so that's going to make this fight free, just to take a minute here. As Yang is sleeping on us. Look, only Edward's allowed to sleep in the seed here, Yang. Come on. Turn the clock here.
And at this point, just don't have enough health pool to survive. Accounts for it.
Nerukad got the bad news that this is basically been a waste of time, unfortunately. We see a duplicate Kain here, and we have bonus round that ain't a bonus round.
Yeah, so we don't need now.
Yeah, and also a little bit annoying that White Spirit we have for Kain, not too useful against the D-Mist, because D-Mist is strong against Holy. So, yeah, we have to probably switch to that Rune Axe.
Yeah, how is the D-Mist at... anyway, is it a particularly annoying fight?
It's annoying in the sense it has a lot of HP for this stage in the game, and we're talking about it's over 20,000 HP, I believe. And Kain is not going to hit it very hard because it doesn't have any weaknesses. Can't Zerk because then you'll get all the time loss with all of the coldness coming out. And yeah, if Palom gets up to Virus or Quake, it's going to help. Yang is going to help out too much, and Rosa... not sure what she's going to do here either. I mean, she'll do a little bit with Heroine, but it's still going to be slow.
I mean, the other I guess I should ask this because I'm not entirely familiar with the no XP flag, but these trap chests will still give experience, right?
Yes, the boxes will give experience, but you can't use any sirens or take any random encounters. Those won't give you anything.
All right, so doing these trap chests is not only a potential key item, but it's also, you know, just experience that you're not going to get in other places.
Yes, I mean, you know, since we have the moon flag on, all the moon boxes are also in the Kedem pool, which gives you enough experience even if you get a character somewhat late. But again, the slingshot mechanic ain't in play, so I mean, ooh, a bluster came out there because that vampire wasn't quite enough, so Kain dropped on Nerukad's side. We only found a spoon was available in the Mad Ogre chest here in Babel. That's kind of nice for Edge. It's an emergency dart in case we run into something nasty. If I make this D-Mist go a lot faster, you can save probably a good minute, I think, using it on this. We could just save it for Zeromus. We'll get to fight him this time around. Since unlike the first season of this club, where Z was off all but one seed, in this season, Z has been on every single seed because the racers just chose to turn on like the very first race. It's like, okay, different racers, different flavors, I guess. Oh yes, and as Chess pointed out, the life glitch is off in this situation, so also hurting the ability to get extra levels on things.
Okay, Dark Imps.
We've got hourglasses. This is not a problem. We've also got coffins. So take your pick of which way you want to destroy them.
There aren't too many locations where Dark Imps are going to be a huge threat. And it's usually just a case of you went to some place that you weren't adequately prepared for, and they were faster and punchier than you were expecting. But for the most part, there's plenty of answers for Dark Imps.
As long as B no free is not a flag, which it isn't in this case. It makes it a lot more challenging if they show up someplace nasty and punchy. And we've got D-Mist up here. D-Mist is going fairly fast here.
Yeah, so after the third hit, it's going to go into its mist phase, and then that can just sort of grind this fight out a bit.
Yep. Rosa goes down. You have time to recover, though. It's the one nice part about the D-Mist is it only gets 3 hits and you have 4 people, so you have time to life roulette, get some blinks back up. It should be fine. If you want to be really cheeky, you can try to cue a jump or something to before he gets now ready to fight up again. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm sure some of our
and it looks like I'm sorry, go on.
I say if the racers have timed it very well, like the people who get all the the nerfs on Z for big bangs, they can probably time it out where they can get the extra action in there.
Right. And it looks like in this case, Matic decided to leave Rosa down and just focus on, building up power and queuing up actions.
Yep, which is fair. Because Rosa's gonna get experience no matter what happens here. Her damage isn't the greatest here. I mean, I might like her for some blink casts. That's why I've had a problem where I think you tried to get her up maybe once and it didn't work, so maybe she has Vitality 0 possibly. Because I think that the curse ring is on at this point, and that can sometimes cause a problem.
Yeah, so Matic was able to get Cure 2 off on that Yang, which is probably good because otherwise Yang would have gone down in a fat hit.
Meanwhile, the bluffs on Palom have gotten Quake up to respectable damage here, so this is working out alright. We're back to Mist Phase again.
Yeah, this is an extremely fast location for D-Mist, it seems.
That's true. I don't know what Rosa's agility here is either. I mean, there is always the risk of agility 0, which then makes everybody RA1, including the boss. I don't think it's where we are in this case, but it's going very, very fast.
Okay, NeuroCAD is now going down the FMK route.
Yep. So we have not seen a whole lot of key items at this point. Only 3 up for the entire hook route. Which, considering there are 10 checks along the way, it's like we've got a lot of stuff hidden late in the game.
Now, is having Edge going to give NeuroCAD any kind of advantage against D-Mist?
If there are dartables, I mean, darting a spoon, for example, based on the damage they're going out on Matic's side, that would probably save 1 or 2 rounds of D-Mist. That's some valuable time that you can make up here. We can also dart things like Drain Spear, which is very effective.
Yeah, so Young has gone down. It does seem like Kane is able to tank some of those hits, though. Uh, being back road and probably having some better armor than Yang is going to help with that.
Yep, and I think actually either on this round or the next round, I think based on where the damage is going, because it's not going too badly here.
Yeah, those quakes are doing work.
Okay, this is that's it. The quake has definitely made it worthwhile. So Yang is getting the experience here, which is kind of sad for Yang, but we're probably gonna replace Yang anyway, so it's not the saddest thing in the world anyways.
Yeah, so what character checks would we expect to see come up soon? Dwarf Castle, maybe?
I think Dwarf is actually put off for a little bit because, again, it's a longer check, and there's only one check available because Work Glitch isn't on. So I think that one tends to come later in your hunts. You'll only do it if you sort of like start to run out of all their stuff. That's a blue robe sitting at the top of Lower Babel.
We've already seen. Yeah, we've already seen Waterhig, so that's definitely Gauntlet.
It's also not the greatest gauntlet to see for this particular party, just based on what it actually is.
So I guess the question is top of Lower Babel going to be necessary?
Well, it'd be kind of funny if it is, because that means you have two checks that are kind of punishing, which have required items in that case. We've already seen Mount Ordeal's had the underground access. We're going to get the Pan turn in first, because this is actually going to be 4 checks for Matic. The bonk on Young itself, and then 3 in for Bull Castle, the defense, and then the 2 Sheila checks. We already know that the Bull defense itself does not actually wield anything other than a Sand Ruby, so not too useful there.
Although that Sand Ruby is Edge, so that could be a possible replacement for Young.
True. That also assumes that we don't find Edge anywhere else while we're down here underground. Bahamut Orb. Well, that's nice in other seeds. In this case, it's just a lot of money.
So is Matic going to go right back up, or is going? Okay, no, going to go and do some other things here.
Yeah, we're gonna go and maybe validate the seed.
Another Drain Spear.
A helmet, that's nice for Palom.
I also saw an exit, so that's at least one answer until we can get Rosa up Zot.
Invalidated. It was a photographic something. If Jet wants to fill in the rest of that, that'd be great. I didn't get much time to see it. Oh, we find Sork robes here in Amra. That's nice. Sell off the orb there. Okay.
Neurocat is making his way through the Staleman chest. And done.
Yeah, just through. There are cat claws here since we have a Yang, and there's also a full moon. If we want to make a prospective purchase to the Edge, yeah, we're investing in a cat claw. Looks like Matic might be committed to Yang here for a little while. And a Shura orb. Okay, all the radio orbs are for sale here or available in this seed.
Yeah.
And mechanic. Okay.
As you mentioned before, with the trap chests on, there's probably a decent amount of experience all throughout the underground, because there's plenty of trap chests throughout the different locations here.
Along with the Faustian bargain anytime you have this flag set on, which is, do you do Sylph Cave or do you not do Sylph Cave? If you do, when do you do it? Now, I see with this Rosa here in a cursed ring. I think if you put the Artie bow on Palom, you can get Palom to RA1, which means you can quake through a lot of those self chests and get them through without any attacks coming through. Nice and quick. At the same time, we only have 3 key items on each racer, which means you're not getting the bonus experience if you have 10. So in this case, I don't think I want to wait to grind because it's like 10 key items is going to be a very long way away. And
Yeah. And some of those are just going to be possibly be in those chests.
yes, and unfortunately, when it comes to seeds like this, like we like to be like JG went with. We want our power now. Thank you very much. Well,
Luckily, you got the Hourglass 2 off, so you have time to get everyone back up and then hopefully get those warriors down. But yeah, basically, Kane used the rest of the party as meat shields to tank those hits.
this seems perfectly in keeping with Kane. Also, apparently, the date's not going very well because Kane is just keeping Rosa on the floor the whole time through. Or Rosa doesn't like it and just playing dead the whole time to get out of it. I don't know. Take your pick. Stardust Rod. Alright, that's nice for Palom.
And so the key item hunt continues.
Indeed, and it's not going to get much better down here in Feymarch because the 2 bosses aren't going to have any. We're just looking at that chest has something. Where are all the key items? That black belt. And what do we have? We have a tower key. Okay, that's something.
That's an objective too, so that also may promote the idea that we do want to actually go up Lower Babel and start doing some damage there.
Yes, especially to that cannon. Oh, Drain Spears for sale here. So if Matic does find the edge at some point, we can always buy a nice stack of Drain Spears as dartables. Item shop is pretty useless, just Succubus and Mallet. That's not going to help. Now, we'll at least probably peek to see what that king spot is. Let's see if it's something that's doable right now, or if we have to come back.
What would you ideally want to see here?
And queen. I want to see here. Well, it is a Lunar Sparkle. What Lunar Sparkle is it? It's not the worst. It's going to take some time, though, here.
Yeah, with the right setup, that plague shouldn't be too hard. But again, the only reward is getting the objective done and some experience.
Yeah, and one of the things about this is the only weakness we have against that plague right now is Rosa's arrows, but it also means that it's going to be going a lot faster, which means that count is going to be going super, super quick. And that Quake on Palom is going to work because this actually is a floating eye. So, really, this is one of those fights where it's like, if you have Fu and a nuke, it's much nicer than what you have right now. I would probably come back to this later. Hopefully with a Fu in tow. Alright, well, Matic is going to give it a try. Did not get the Starveil off in time.
Yeah, how much health does the plague have here?
I believe this is about 25,000, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, this does seem like a fairly fast spot for plague.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I know Mag tried to get a reflect off on the count, but then took Kane out, which was one who had the Starveil on, so yeah, this is going a little bit sideways, I think, but we'll see if this recovers.
Okay, Nurkad has reached the D-Mist now.
It's probably go a little bit faster because again, that edge can dart. Well, if chooses to dart. Rosa is going to Zerk up Pain on Maddox's side. Okay. On 4, this is looking a little bit dicey in terms of getting anybody down and back up again. Elm down. Alright, life goes off, so this will at least survive it. We lost a Yang, but we kept everybody else.
Yeah, and this really is the trick with this Plagues fight, is just trying to judge when you need to be doing one kind of strategy and like life roulette versus when you can just like full send or rely on the speed to sort of glitch out at 0 and not actually kill your team.
Yeah, or alternately, you can try to reflect the count like was tried earlier, but you have to be faster to get it off in the first place, and then you also hope that it actually resolves on the Plague.
And I think you have to do some agility, not agility manipulation, but like use slow spells and stuff like that to be able to make sure that it actually hits on the Plague too. Sometimes there's some kind of manipulation, I recall.
Since I've only had it ever work for me around a rare occasion, I don't think I'm familiar with the strategy, because, yeah, I don't usually execute it very well, so, yeah.
I mean, ideally, what you want to do is be able to get a Star Veil off on a character that does not have a count currently on them, because then the Plague will just continually cast count against it, and you can basically have all the time in the world to take it down.
It also works. Alright, Rose is back up on Maddox's side, so this will be okay. As we have the duel of the two very, very long fights, this D-Mist and this Plague. Stealing all the top billing here on both racers' sides.
Yeah, and it looks like Maddox just decided to continue to use Rosa as the life roulette target.
It makes sense because it's the one character. It doesn't matter if she's down when the fight ends because she'll still get the experience anyways. And Plague does go down. Rosa is up, so does not cheat the system.
And that's our first objective on the board, I think.
Yeah, 52 minutes in. Yay! And we get another Stardust Rod for the trouble. So I guess if a Fu shows up, we can do reflect strats more easily. Use an exit and say goodbye to either that Ruby or that Elements sitting in the Queen spot.
Yeah, there's really no reason to go into that fight.
I told you our races are masochists, right?
I mean, you can tell by some of the flags that they've chosen to add over the course of the season.
Yes, I mean, yeah, just the fact that we've got, Party 4 on, and they said, no to Rydia, no to Porum. It's, they said yes to Yang. I'm shocked at that one still.
Well, Matic is going to go ahead and say yes to Fabul now. So we'll probably see Fabul defense and the Sheila checks all looped in together for the classic, ever-desired single dip Fabul.
Single dip Fabul, and Also being responsible for being attacked in the first place. Because for whatever reason, Baron won't attack unless you're there.
It's part of their bold strategy to wait until there's adequate defenders before attacking.
You're saying Baron fights like Rubicon.
I mean, I imagine in their minds, it's more we can just wait till all our enemies gather in one place and take them out in a single fell swoop. But in reality, it plays out like, well, you just attacked us with nothing.
I admit, sending something more than a Milan Z would be kind of advised. I mean, one Milan Z against the whole castle.
What's he going to do? Get dust everywhere? And now we get to see the Sheila checks, which...
Mura, fun. An hourglass. So she did a good fight.
That totally did not pan out, but at least it's a second objective for Matic.
Yeah. Sheila, disappointing today.
So the next question is, where does Matic go from here?
Well, I think the only choices really open at this point are the boxes in the Feymarch, the Sylph Cave, or Castle in the Tower. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, my personal choice would probably be Lower Babel because there is objectives there. I have Tower Key. I can do the chests. Yeah, it just feels like that might be a fairly solid choice to go for. But we're going to see Matic grab that edge possibly. Well, yeah, I mean, if he didn't want the edge, I was sure he would reset out by now.
Yeah, or, I mean, I think Fabulous already has the heal, doesn't need otherwise. Yep, it's curtains for Yang. Or she say goodbye to him now. You couldn't say goodbye to him when we voted on this. I forget how actually Matic voted on that, but I'm still salty with Edge one out over Rydia and pour them both.
In any case, we do have a sort of parody in party composition now.
We do until Fu shows up. Will Fu show up?
Is Fu at the back of Giant?
Well, it feels you're never finding him in this seed. The Giant did not roll into the objective pile here, but it has rolled into some of these seeds. We're going to check if the Sylph Cave again. On Neroka's side. This is actually going on to check the pad. Never mind. Bleed. It's the same seed.
But again, you've pointed this out. At what point do you check the trap chest in Sylph Cave?
Well, I mean, the 10 Cave is looking like a pipe dream at this point on the Earth. I mean, we've been in this S for almost an hour, and we only have 5.
Yeah, so Tower... It seems like...
Tower and Sylph have got to be hiding the goods.
Yeah, Tower seems like a fairly straightforward, solid idea.
Which either means it's going to be great or it's going to stink. One of the two. There's no middle ground.
And we saw fire bombs, which would have been useful against that skeleton Stallman chest earlier.
Yeah, it's always nice the underground gives you the solutions to overworld problems, right? Hey, we found our first alert.
And even though we have edge, there's no point into siren farming because...
Nope. And the order's fallen and can't get up again. We'll see what kind of key it gives us for that. It's a white shirt.
Is Rosa the only character in this pool that can use that, or can Fu also use white shirt?
I believe Fu can, but I don't remember for certain. I usually don't put will gaining items on him anyways, so.
So realistically, like Rosa is the only target, and you may want her to have the heroine robe instead, depending on what you're trying to do with her.
Could possibly. And our second alert. It's a glass helm. Yes, Rosa's the only heroine robe user because Rydia and Porum have been voted out.
And really, I think the only time you might want to use heroine robe is if you're planning on doing like fast anchoring. Is that right, or is there some other situation where it makes sense to?
No, I think you're kind of right, actually. I think that in fast anchoring, occasionally you might want to do that, in which case it's fine. Early mid-game, it's fine, but I mean, I don't think you're putting heroine robe on for Zeef, for example.
Ooh,
It's adamant. Okay, it's helpful at least. It's not a key item, but it's definitely gonna help. And it is going on Edge.
yeah, that's a pretty solid choice since you're having Edge take the front row.
We also have Amura for Edge, which will be helpful for his damage. No, Nirika, you have not missed it. I have not announced the vote yet.
And speaking of Nerokad, currently fighting Plague, or at least in the VOD fighting Plague at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And Ribbon from that one.
Right, so power is not panning out for key items either here. My goodness. Also note to self, I have to go back and check the votes again after we do the race to make sure I've got it right.
Okay, looks like Maddox going to do top first, then go down and take the actual cannon room.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna get the special here where you go to the cannon and then just simply go back down the tower. It's tempting because we have a gauntlet up here, but I think the standard play is you finish your tower and don't ever come back here.
Additionally, that gauntlet could be a nice chunk of experience in this particular flag set.
Don't think it's anything much more than the vanilla spot, actually, if I remember what's up here, but I could be wrong.
I mean, to some extent, there is always going to be any port in a storm situation when it comes to XP, and if you can get some, you might want it.
There's some XP that's not worth fighting for, and this is one of them, I think. That it's not worth so much here. Okay, unfortunately, Stonemen are not the same as Stalemen. This Quake is actually not going to do all that much against them.
Especially that back one, wow.
Yeah, the magic defenses are kind of high on these guys. Here's the one where you want physical fighters. The reason I said this is kind of bad for this party is the fights are pretty bad for your physicals, and some of them are kind of bad for your casters. Kind of one of the mixed bags here. And now we've got an alert, so this one's free. It's not a lot of experience either.
And I still don't think either of our runners have checked Flame Dog, right?
Nope, no one's checked Flame Dog yet. We are an hour into the seed and still with one of those early checks that's been available to them right since the start.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't run this seed. I haven't watched this video before, so I'm not foreshadowing anything, but I may be cursing something.
Cursing has already happened.
I can do that. I've done it before.
All right, Vibes of Chrono Trigger here in the booth.
Unfortunately, Neurocad did wipe to that. The count was just too fast.
Unfortunate there, and Attic has gotten through some tofu, chose to throw it into the ground instead of eating it. Put it through Foodmatic. Yeah, Berserk can miss, especially if Rose is wearing the heroine robe. I don't think she is, but it can miss.
Luckily, that Quake took out the Chimera.
Ooh, it's a Darkness Crystal. So, since we have no pass on, this is actually a hard required fight. You can't get through the sea without going to this gauntlet. I've rolled the required ordeals and a required gauntlet at the top of the tower. Show me.
No, I mean, honestly, I just want to like do a slow clap for you at this point.
That's okay. The races, I'm sure, are doing a slow clap at me or something like that. We've got some luggage sitting here in the cannon room. Apparently, Dr. Luge is trying to get airfare.
Yeah, the not so good doctor is, trying to take matters into his own hands. Doesn't trust the Dark Imps anymore to operate the cannon.
Well, if you've ever noticed, I mean, it's not like the dwarves ever got destroyed in this game. And Luge gets poison off before we get this spell off. So we're going to have a little bit of a poison walk down the stairs here.
Maddox says, I'll see your poison and raise you a virus. I guess Dr. Luge is going to be one of the more annoying bosses to fight at this location because it is a very low HP. And so if you have like a single target that doesn't have any special like scripting on it, you can get through this fight very quickly. But when you have Golbez or Luge or anyone that has like some kind of script going on, Cannon Room can take longer than it ought to.
Yeah, Water Hag, or especially the Gauntlet. It's like Gauntlet's a very nasty surprise to see there too. Yes, Glue, it is. Alright, so we're going to check on what this cannon room has given us. Maybe a key item? I mean, we've gotten to 6. Go at 7.
Okay, that count comes off in time to save Edge and Kane.
Oh. And the cannon gives a crystal glove. Ooh.
Well, more cash for the coffers because we don't have Cecil here.
What are you gonna spend all his money on? We can't even buy sirens.
I mean, you're going to be buying a lot of Bacchus for the after party.
You're assuming this is actually a wet seed, not a dry seed.
You gave them required ordeals, required gauntlet, and didn't give them any Bacchus?
Look, Prohibition is strong sometimes in this particular game. I don't remember if I gave him Bacchus one or not, actually.
Mute arrows, it looks like.
Mute arrows and black belts. Black belts is kind of a nice thing here.
How many more mage bosses? I mean, the Magic Sisters are still around. But apart from that, we've already seen Ashura, we've already seen guards. I'm trying to think who else is weak against magic that we might have to take out.
Well, this isn't one of them. This is a Bahamut.
So, as long as you got your reflex up, this shouldn't be any kind of trouble at this spot, right?
I don't even know if you have to put reflex up if your agility is set up right, because yeah, it's gonna take a little while to get down there. And Even though it has wings, it is not floating. Oh my goodness, this cow is going super fast.
Yeah, that's spooky.
I would get up a Starveil now. Okay, Edge is gonna put one up. That's good.
Okay, we got 2 Starveils up.
Yep.
And we're seeing the warrior chest. Lucky miss there. That's a hit. That's a hit. And
That's
miss.
All right, just by the skin of the teeth there. Things like this are why life potions are going to be draining a lot more of your cash. Life potions may not be on, but there's a lot of life usage going on.
And are life potions going up in price for the beta flags? Is that what's going on? Oh, there's our food.
Yes, so as it turns out, going to Dwarf Castle first would have been kind of nice. Matic is making the choice to dump the Palom, so prefers the mage that's already fully leveled up. We have a DKC here in the second spot. That is just simply nothing to worry about. And we're just going to nuke out of existence anyways. No justice, we have nuke justice.
I mean, even if you didn't nuke him, Fu has enough HP to tank that, right? Because Be No Free is off, so you just survive 3 of those dark waves and you're good. And Fu would certainly be able to do that.
Yeah, this spot has no real stats for physical or magic for that matter, so yeah, it's not deadly at all here.
That might be like the best place to find the Dark Knight in some of, especially compared to certain other places.
Unless you faced a boss before it that happens to make you very weak to lots of things. Cecil is the new Golbez. What are you implying there, BG Rich?
Yeah, and so it looks like Fu took the place of Palom, and we're sort of getting Matic's getting the spells organized to where he wants them all.
Okay, you're going off of location there. Okay, I guess that makes some sense. Cecil is now the jealous, jilted lover in this case. All right.
And Neurocad has turned into Sheila Check, got the bad news that was just an objective and nothing more.
Yep. Meanwhile, Matic has found a magma key, which is such a lovely choice. It's good for the pile count, but it's not anything else more useful than that.
And Neurocad is also going to go up tower. We'll get the Darkness Crystal. What was the cannon room item again?
Oh, was that the magma or was that the Dwarf Castle? I forgot which one went where.
Magma was from Dwarf Castle, I thought.
Okay, all right. Oh, yeah, Crystal Gloves. Okay, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so only value here is the experience and that Darkness Crystal, but that Darkness Crystal is super valuable.
Yeah, so at this point we've seen every check on Earth except for what is in the Sylph Cave.
And Flame Dog.
And Flame Dog, that's true. Yeah, I'm even reading about Flame Dog, my goodness.
I mean, I feel like they're just neglecting the dog at this point.
I think the dog has been more forgotten about than anything else.
But yeah, Matic is chosen to go ahead and just open up all those chests in Sylph Cave to see if there's answers there.
Well, at this point you kind of feel like there has to be, because if this comes out, let's say it's a 0 key item Sylph Cave, that would mean that 9 of your key items other than the crystal are blocked behind the moon. I think is ahead. Well, I mean, just by number of checks, Matic is a few checks ahead.
Yeah, Neurocad's main advantage for a while was having Edge instead of Yang, but that once Matic ended up doing Fabul Castle, that kind of went away. And now Matic also has Fu, which is a huge advantage.
Yeah, because Fu has nuke, so most of these fights now are going to go a lot faster. Monsters and chests are preserved.
Okay, Neurocat gets that adamant armor. Gets rid of the Odin Sphere. Very wise choice.
Yep, and we are seeing that there are ghosts in the shell.
I mean, Neurocat is also facing that most difficult of bosses, the inventory boss at this point.
We have another adamant armor in the Sylph Cave. Okay. So, this seed has apparently said no to key items, but yes to adamants. And that one went on Fu. So, watch out, Old Man Online.
I feel like the seed may have been sponsored by some armor manufacturers.
Yes, Acme Adamants.
Having Float and having Quake is pretty helpful here.
This is true. Dragon Whip.
Dragon Whip completely useless except for selling.
Yeah, no Rydia here. As far as leads, I wouldn't say any of these is insurmountable, just because, again, we still have the Moon Online, and if this comes down, well, continuing the theme of Adamant, we now have Adamant in the chest, key item this time. If moon boxes are on, I mean, they are scattered. There's 9 of them in Lunar Subterrane. If it's a divergence in path, you get the right one that's required, it could easily still swing. Alright, so we have now found an 8th key item. Slowly, painfully struggling our way to get to 10. Erukad has found Alnab Z. Unfortunate they're in the cannon room, considering how low HP this actually has, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah, sometimes mech suits are just piles of scrap. Does get the first strike on Luge before the poison comes off, so that's an advantage.
Yeah, we'll now have to poison walk down the tower. We have the Mulball chest show up.
Looks like those breath attacks didn't connect at all.
Well, 2 people are wearing adamants, which are immune to them, so yeah, it's not a good day for it to be a Mulball here. Another adamant armor, okay. That's 2 adamants in the Sylph Cave, plus the adamant rock. Everybody has adamants now, except for Rosa. We have a 4th.
I guess at this point, we should probably ask how much do adamant armors actually sell for, because at this rate, we might have to sell some.
I believe they're $250,000 if you sell them. Hey, there's a rat tail. We actually have an item we can exchange for something.
We found some possible progression. That's nice.
Also, key item number 9. If this red tail turns into something, then you can have 10 before going to the moon.
Yeah, that would definitely be helpful in this particular seed with the no XP flag on.
Yes, although if you do have to go to the moon, I guess you're going to find a 10th key item sooner than later, so. I wasn't counting boxes on Matic's side, but I think Matic was through all 7. I imagine you would have dropped out before getting all 7. If you're going to do all that.
Ooh, Baron Key. There's your 10th key item and plus a direction to go in for now.
Yep. Well, great characters, but there might be a key item in that trash can.
And we do know that the first boss you're going to be fighting is CPU, so you can sort of plan ahead for that.
There's not much planning required here. Fu is going to quake, and it's going to just simply short circuit.
That's an adequate plan.
Yeah, Adamant Fu with the cursed Rosa. It's CPU might not be able to finish booting up before it shuts off.
I've had computers like that.
Did they come from a place like Shmeshbai?
I think I did get a laptop from Best Buy many, many years ago. And the only thing I really remember about it is that it overheat a lot.
I'll tell you what my Geek Squad experience is one of these days offline. Anyways, we've got some tofu sitting up on the Narukad screen here. So getting towards the end of this gauntlet.
We're never getting the Best Buy sponsorship now.
And that's what we have to file bankrupt soon enough anyways. Oops. Well, the quick strategy requires enough MP to use it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to plan ahead.
Well, there's an Ether 2 to finish the planning off. Luckily, we have enough HP to get through it.
So at this point, what would you hope to find? Like ideally, what would you want to get out of this Baron check? Like as far as key items, would it be the Earth Crystal?
Earth Crystal would be nice, I think. Let's see. Looking at the objectives, so I mean, we already have the Riven Room online. So I mean, I would want to get some sort of progression. I mean, Luca Q would also be kind of nice here just to finish off the Earth sequence before we go up, because
Package is a dead end though, but so although you would get an objective, it wouldn't really take you any further. Same thing with Legend Sword.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the things is the way this is set up without there being a pass, you want the room to be your last objective if you can. So you'd love to see a sequence where it's like maybe it's Dot to Luca to either a package or a Legend Sword. Unlikely, but it's still possible.
So this is where we find out it's actually going to be Twin Harp, right?
Well, that would be funny, wouldn't it now? Oh, meanwhile, Yang has just changed allegiances. He is now the King of Baron instead of the Defender of Fabul.
Very offended by getting kicked out in favor of Edge.
Does this mean that Yang decided to attack Fabul?
It was a double bluff all along. He's playing 5D chess.
Not with Fu and Anuki isn't. That's game over. And we have a Palom. I was really hoping Yang was going to show up. It's like, wait, did we just...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be great. It's like, I'm your friend again. It's like the sort of classic anime story where it's like, yo, we beat the final boss and now he's our friend.
Or, you know, your team just threw a massive fireball and basically cooked into a crisp, and it's like, hi guys, I'm fine. Matthew's saying, we all know the Earth Crystals with the fire doggo. That would be rude, but it's certainly increasing in likelihood to move on here. We put a Luca key in the trash.
Okay, well, we got your sealed cave check now.
Yep, and because that can still lead into something else, we're going to go check it.
Absolutely. There's like no reason not to. It's an objective, it's progression, and there's not much else to do apart from Flame Dog, really, or go to the moon.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you go to the moon now, you're double dipping back to Earth no matter what, and then you have to go back to the moon a second time. So I think so long as you can do stuff on Earth, you're going to try to prefer to do stuff on Earth. That would be my.
Yeah, I mean that just makes sense from the routing perspective.
You know what seeds like to say to your logic?
I mean, we've
See,
already had the required ordeals and required gauntlet.
that is true. What other rude things can we come up with? I can't put an Adam. I can't put a gauntlet at Mazza because we've already seen the gauntlet. But
Yeah, and we can't do Dark DKC at Masa either. That's another nasty one because we've already seen DKC.
yep, I can't put him into the giant because there's no reason to go to the giant logically. But a double dip on the moon would be kind of nasty to put up there. That's still in play. And it would happen as long as the ribbon and the moon altars are gating at least 2 of Earth Crystal, the Legend Sword, or the Packet.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's worth pointing out is that we are only 3 key items away from being able to hit all our objectives.
Said when there are 5 key items left in the game, but yeah, on Matic side anyways. We've almost done a world tour here of the seed. Hirokata is getting the good news that Fu is here, finally. Well, similarly dumped the Palams.
Ooh,
Nobody
White
wanted.
Spear.
That's unfortunate. What's the boss?
Yeah, and so Nurkat's doing the other strategy of just sitting there. Okay, so that does mean that the Ruby icon at Queen Spot was a full leg.
Yes. So Ruby is taking over the duties of being Queen at the Feymarch today, which also means that Ruby was dating Rydia apparently, which is kind of weird there. But it is date night, so I guess it's a thing.
And at this point, I don't think Elements was just not going to be that huge of a threat to this party.
Oh, I'm a little surprised Matic took it because, I mean, again, because of Steel Cave, duh, hello, objectives. I wonder why I was getting reset out of it. Read your objectives. It's a good thing. Okay, so Matic will warp out now from this.
Yeah, solid choice. You don't want to be walking through this entire thing again.
Well, signs you have no choice.
Okay, so that line of inquiry has not panned out. So at this point, is the moon or the flame dog the only checks left?
I believe so. If the flame dog does no value, the moon is hard required for finishing the seed, and a hard double dip is required. So the question here is, do you do the moon first, or do you check that last objective we've left behind since the beginning of the game?
And again, if they've forgotten that the flame dog is there, this is going to get a bit silly.
It could, depending on if the flame dog is required or not. If the flame dog is nothing, it's totally fine that they're fading it. I guess this is gonna be a basement check.
Okay.
I don't know why. There isn't anything that can be of value here. Maybe he's forgotten that summon spots are off.
Yeah, I mean that could be.
Or just wants the information in terms of what's here. Well, the true king of Baron is Golbez.
I imagine he's forgotten that this is the like no case summon, because there's not really a point to taking this fight, right?
There is no value that comes from taking this, exactly. The best it could give you is maybe a nice item, like maybe an Avenger, but that's the most it could do. There's no
On
key
the other
item.
hand, we do see Neurocad remembering Flame Dog exists.
We're gonna get the answer right now to our question: is this value? Is this progression? Or should you simply commit to your fades? I mean, one thing that's definitely a thing is if you fade something, commit to the fade, because, if your opponent did it, you might be already lost, and if your opponent didn't do it anyways, then, you're both gonna find out around the same time if we come back to it. So Shadow is full, even though Shadow didn't manage to eat anybody today, because, 3 out of the 4 have adamant armors on, and adamant armors are not chewy or figure.
I mean, this can't even really be a good experience grab, right? Because there's going to be better ways to get experience.
Well, I mean, 27,000, it's a little bit split because of the Shadow thing there. Well, it's another adamant armor.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing there.
So basically, because you want to put it on Rosa, that's 250,000 gold, and that's all it is. That was something. What was that? Earth Crystal.
Well, we're in the right place.
That cheeky devil. So yes, all along, the Tower of Zot has been available since the very beginning. We just didn't know it.
Yeah, the Tower of Zot decided to have its own answers.
Let's see. Who is playing mop duty for the Maga Sisters today? It is Mylon and friends. So you can always pretend the Maga Sisters are just wearing gas costumes.
They're shooting a music video.
What genre?
I always think of Michael Jackson's Thriller whenever I see Mylon and friends.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like they're all like all the zombies are just moonwalking.
Now, Matic has decided to go for the moon, so it's going to be a double dip on Matic's part. Well, if this Tower of Zod gives us either a Legend Sword or a package, it's hard required. That would be a way for Miracod to definitely catch up again.
Yeah, depending on where that package is and where that Legend Sword is really going to determine who's actually ahead at this point.
Now, this is also interesting. There's been a Fu here. You could have had Fu 5 minutes into the seed, potentially, if you were able to get through this.
Okay.
Said both of the racers took literally an hour to find Fu, so early Dot was definitely the play here.
Okay, and there was nothing at the hair dryers. That was Edge 2. So you could have had a very solid party right from the beginning if you had just checked the Flame Dog.
Always pet your dogs, people. It's a thing.
Yeah, the legacy of Potion Party lives on.
It's an Octoman, which is not terrible here. Even early in the game, this would not have been terrible with enough defense. Meanwhile, Nerocod is going to violate all the Elephas etiquette rules and is going to nuke the octopus. The octopus is going to smell now for days. Come on.
We did see Bacchus on Motic's side, so it is not a dry seed after all.
Oh, great. The heroes are going to get sloshed imminently.
Okay, so what is Motic's sort of path through this now? Does he do the boxes on the way down? Does he check the altars first?
I think you want to check the objective first, in case it has both. There's a package behind that Zod. So Zod is hard required.
Yeah, and that does put NeuroCAD kind of in a leader position at this point.
It does. Now, the interesting thing here is Irukad does not have the Luca key, which Matic found. So until Nirokad finds that Luca key, it's not go yet.
Do we remember where that Luca key was hiding?
Baron Castle, thank you. Where was the Baron key? That was in Sylph?
Right, okay. So NeuroCAD actually does have a bit of catching up to do as far as that goes. And all Matic has to do is head back down and check Flame Dog.
Yes. Now, of course, the interesting thing is if Matic decides to full clear the Earth, it's gonna full clear the Earth, full clear the Moon. It's gonna take a while. The question is there anything in this ribbon room that basically pushes Matic back to the Earth?
I mean, the Legend Sword would be about it.
Actually, it's the only thing that can be here, can it? Yeah. Whoops. Because we know where the package is, we know where the Luca key is, and the ribbon room is already available. We know where the Earth Crystal is.
I mean, maybe Harp, but do you want to really leave the Moon to check Harp when it's not an objective?
Probably not. You find that there are sisters here in the ribbon spot, which is both nice and not nice. It's nice in the sense that they have split HP, so you get brought down much quicker. A little bit rude in the sense that there's a lot of HP here, and they're going to take a little while in their script.
Meanwhile, NeuroCAD is going for Sylph Cave, so we'll get that Baron key, which will sort of direct him through the rest of what he needs to be doing.
Yes. Now, the unfortunate thing is because Baron is not an obvious goal check, we're probably going to see all 7 chests first before NeuroCAD leaves here.
And once he has Baron, that will give him the Luca key. Luca key will be the last objective he needs to do on Earth, and he can just go right to the Moon, do Ribbon Room, and then walk down for the boss fight.
Yeah. Now, interesting here too with the order is NeuroCAD has 9 key items right now, so the sooner that key item is found, the more experience is going to be basically derived from this. Unusual strategy. We get a coffin on the Toad Lady.
Yeah, it does make the rest of this fight easier. I mean, this is more of a speed bump than an actual threat, but it is annoying.
Alright, Matic is through the sisters. Now the question is, do these have a legend sword? Oh, they've got a crystal sword, which is an upgraded legend sword.
And not really usable here, unfortunately.
We have a second
I guess it's
orb as well.
I guess you can dart the crystal sword, right? Or is that
No, you can't.
Okay,
Nope.
so nope. So that is in fact just a collector's piece.
Yes. It is as useful as a spear spear. Actually, it's even less useful than a spear spear here. I think it's going to check the white spear altar.
Okay, so Dark Elf's not going to be too difficult, especially once you get to second phase. If you still have like coffins or hourglasses, I think you can just use those on the dragon form, right?
Yes. Although I think given the HP count here, it might just be faster to nuke it and chug some Bacchus.
Yes. Okay. But in any case, Dark Elf's not going to be a huge threat.
No, not at all. I mean, Kane with the white spear is getting quads on this. It's not going to be long for getting through this.
And so, do you go for Crystal Sword next, or do you go for Massa Altar?
If I'm full clearing this, I'm gonna go for the Mazza altar next. Speaking of Mazzas, there it is. It's just moved altars.
Yeah, so realistically, Modek really needs to find that Legend Sword and hopefully go back down once he has it. Because if he continues to full clear even after getting the Legend Sword, that just gives Neurocad more time to get Baron Key and go through the Baron Castle sequence.
Yep, the worst thing to see would actually be the Twin Harp, especially because that's in our check. If Matic is literally going to fade that Flame Dog until it's the last thing left, this could be dicey.
Yeah, and as much as like the fans love the harp sequence, for our runners at this point, it would be very detrimental.
Yes, and we know it's not required because Neurocod, we know that there's a path to get through here that doesn't require a Twin Harp. I don't remember actually whether I played music on this C or not, because my memory is, again, very bad of this, even though it's very recent.
Neurocad's having round 2 against the inventory boss.
Inventory boss is on the top 10 most wanted list, and it has never been defeated yet.
We do have an evil Massa Altar.
Yeah, it's it just went down. It's a little punchy there, not too bad.
And I think Nero just got his Baron Key. Or was that the Adamant? That might have been the Adamant.
Yeah, that's the Adamant Rock, yep. We're still waiting on the other item out of here. It was just a white shirt at the Mazza altar. Matic reset out of that.
Yeah, the altars are being really rough right now. So here's Crystal Sword coming up.
Is there value at the Crystal Sword altar? Let's find out.
Is there a nasty boss at the Crystal Sword altar?
I would have to be something physical here, not magical.
Of the bosses that are remaining, what would you say would probably be the roughest one to encounter?
Well, that's not exactly the nicest, but I mean, it should be, I'm not saying physical. Everyone's got adamant armors on, it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is gonna be fine. At this point, it literally doesn't matter. I mean, Matic could just open every single box down here and take everything in succession. It wouldn't matter.
So it's really just a question of time and not whether or not he could get through it.
Yeah, that also brings up something that I've kind of forgotten about. It's like the boxes are on down here, and Matic hasn't taken any of them. We know it's not required to do that because, again, we're looking for a Legend Sword still, but it would be kind of something if it's in one of these boxes.
Is this the Baron Key fight? I can't remember which one it was.
I thought it was coming from the Rat Tail. I could be wrong, but
Oh, I mean, well, then would this be the Rat Tail fight? Or no, he's already got Rat Tail.
I think this is just one of the Adamant fights.
Okay, so it probably does have to just go turn in that Rat Tail then.
Yeah, there's Adamant. Okay. Yeah, so the answer is to get out of here and go to the Adamant Cave, collect your Baron Key, go straight down Baron.
Okay, so I think we got Mura Altar, then going to finally check boxes.
Yeah, although I'm not sure why boxes aren't being checked on the way.
I mean, is Monik used to doing any K-trap seeds at all? Because it could just be a lack of familiarity with that and not being used to doing that.
Or it could just be not realizing they're on down here in the LST, because on most flag sets, if Moon is not on there, these 9 boxes are not in the pool.
Okay, Nurkhead has the Baron key in hand.
And we see a very free King and Queen Eblon here in the Mura Altar.
Yes, ultimately, the question is the Mura Altar got a Legend Sword.
Well, we're running out of places for these things to be.
There it is.
Legend Sword. Okay.
Okay, so I don't think either of our runners is going to be looking for that Twin Harp now.
Well, now
I suppose Matic might if he hasn't realized that Flame Dog is on.
it's interesting because, again, you're already here. We haven't checked, I don't think, the Giant yet for the last arm box. So that's also in play, too.
Oh.
That's where Matic is going. Okay.
So last arm into Twin Harp could be a huge distraction for Matic.
It could be. Yeah, and the thing is, moon boxes, the way they're distributed, you're probably going to see 1 or 2 of them in the pool, and in this case, most they can have rolled is a Pink Tail and a Twin Harp. Yeah, no, it's certainly possible that this seed could have been locked behind a moon box. Something to keep in mind for the finals, because we're going to have these flags on, so moon boxes are in play all the rest of the seeds.
Yeah, and apart from the last arm check, which we just found, there's no real value to doing this the rest of the Giant, because we already have all the characters we need, and there's no key item at the end.
If you want experience, you can also take it for that, but they get kind of overkill. It'd be like 500,000 points. It's an Excal. Womp womp.
Yeah, not what you wanted.
Ooh. Although it would have meant to be a good dart if you wanted to walk it out. So Matic is going back to the Earth, so either thinks the moon boxes are off, or has decided maybe it is time for this Power of Zot box. Where did the package come from again? I forget.
That was at the end of Tower.
Oh, yeah, that was at the end of Tower's Out, right? Got it. Okay.
There's a hard required tower, which means hard required Flame Dog.
Yeah, just because, I mean, I'm looking through the checks here. It's like, I don't think there's any way you can get all 4 out of what's left on the Earth. This should have been a clue that there was something else on, but who knows? No, you do Bahamut spot there, Matthew, because summon spots are not on. So
yeah, there's...
Eight value cannot have any value.
So at this point, it is kind of a race between getting through Zot and package check for Matic, and then getting through Sealed Cave for Neurocad.
Yes, correct.
And as well as Ribbon Room, because Matic does have Ribbon Room done.
Correct. So on the way back to the moon, Matic can just go straight through. Neurocad will have to take a bounce back to Luca. This is one of those times where actually we're getting the flags and the lunar boxes and helping Matic, because if Matic had stayed on the moon and checked all those boxes, it's probably a loss, I think, at this point.
Yeah, like the Twin Harp almost certainly has to be at a moon box at this
Yeah, it doesn't have any other choice, actually. It has to be. Check
That
everything
tw-
else.
and that twin harp would be very much a dead end. At most, it could be the pink tail, which not what you'd want to see.
Right. Otherwise, it's just got, nothing. Matic is getting the bad news that, yeah, Earth Crystal was here all along. You have faded this for an hour and 40 minutes, probably roughly longer than you had to. And now you're just wondering, did your opponent check this early on? Are you panicking?
Yeah. Like, I imagine anyone who did the early Flame Dog check probably did really well on the seed. Like, there still wasn't going to be a lot, but, having two things out of the way fairly quickly and an early Fu and early Edge would definitely be an advantage for the rest of the seed.
Let's put it this way. Our two races on stream did not do this. I did not do this. I am struggling to think if anybody actually did do the early dot box. I don't know that anybody necessarily did.
I mean, maybe for the finals, we're going to see people start making that a very early, solid choice constantly, just out of fear of repeating this.
Well, it's always possible, but it's gonna be, up against the other times we do it probably, or there's gonna be some sort of holy sword there for Cecil, which we can't use.
Okay.
Yes, Matic will get this package after this. Will then burn the village, and then flee to the moon to escape his crimes.
Your cat gets through what's the boss tier elements? Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then just goes straight to the moon and then ribbon room.
Yes. I don't think Legend Sword's gonna turn here. Oh wait. Yeah, actually, Matic's gonna have the choice of whether to turn the forge or the burning the village. Which one will it be? I'm not sure.
I mean, if it's just burning the village, that can be fairly quick rather than having to go fly around. But then again, Legend Sword is not like a very long check either. You just have to get to it.
It does give you the shop too, in case you want something else for your other team. So Matic now has everything to get 8 of 8, but only needs to do one of them. Which one? It's going to be the Legends return. So we're not going to see the village of Mist get burned.
What we did on Nercat's side, that was, we'll have to do.
Yes, so Mist survives in one of these two timelines. We are going to check and see what the forge is.
Now, for Rosa, it's Perseus arrows or Perseus bow, right?
I believe those are the only two choices, but I did not forge in my seed, so I don't actually know what we got here. It's the Perseus arrows. And that is 7 objectives done. Matic has a crystal in hand and is bound for the moon.
Yeah, so just has to get back onto the whale, fly to the moon, and like a 3-4 minute walk down LST.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like Nerukad is actually walking physically out of the sealed cave instead of warping back out. So it took a few extra seconds to get out. What? There's no pass, Matic.
I think Matic may have parked the whale on the spot.
Parked the whale. Okay, parking problems.
Oh yeah, Nercad hasn't even raced the whale yet, so there's going to be a bit more time for that cutscene.
Please watch this presentation from Big Whale Airlines.
So skipping the lunar boxes has definitely paid off for Matic at this point. Uh, is already has slight time advantage. It doesn't have to do ribbon room. Already has the crystal. Just needs to go and put the nail in Z's coffin.
Always a fun thing for sure. All right, so while we're waiting for Matt to get down there, just again a shout out to Radio Caller, our restreamer. Retham's doing the tracking and reminding us where everything important is in the seed. And again, big thanks to Joker Mage for joining me in the comms booth. It's been a blast having you here. I know thank you for helping me with the restreams and a lot of previous club seeds here. It's always a good time.
Yeah, I'm just glad I could help out with this. It's definitely one of the high points of Free Enterprise for me is helping out with restreams.
Got it.
Mostly because I'm really terrible at the actual game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that would...
Yeah, so Matic is saving here, which is probably good in case you have a problem with the Z fight, and taking some time to reorganize a bit.
Indeed. Meanwhile, I was just double checking my votes, as it turns out, for things. Because sometimes when you're doing votes by DM, it's like the back and forth gets a little bit confusing, and I had one of the votes written down wrong, so I had to go back and fix it.
It looks like Neurocad's doing the hair dryer's chest. Is he just looking for a bit more experience?
Might be experience, might be an item. We should remind you. Okay, giveaway trade secrets there. We haven't seen any Z flags in chat, but we don't really randomize Z's location because it's a pretty lot of lousy mechanics. It just wouldn't work very well anywhere else. So, rule of thumb is we don't move Z around, but instead we decide to randomize what Z looks like. Because when Z signed a contract, it did not bother to enforce a no wardrobe change clause, just wanted the no trade, no move clause in it. So we always say something at the end of every seed, Joker Mage, and what is that?
Whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
Or as the case may be in this case, whose butt did we kick a few nights ago? But Crystal is out. We're going to see if it can do our taxes, if it has a hat, all those sorts of fun things.
That is very important since April is coming up pretty fast. That looks like a tax advisor I once worked with.
Okay, did you work with this tax advisor, or was this from the IRS?
Could have been either. Mostly just wanted my soul to pay off some kind of discrepancy in an audit.
Well, Auditmus is not up here, but Chaosmus is taking a holiday from a different Final Fantasy. Decided to invade this one. And we're gonna have hybrid strats, looks like, here on Matic's side. Makes perfect sense with what we got up here. Neurocad is on the LSD and will be making their way down, but it looks like Matic is going to get there a little bit sooner, unless there's some sidewaysness on this Z fight.
Yeah, Neurocad still has to get through that Mega Sisters fight, I believe.
Yep, and Z can occasionally go sideways, but I mean, Matic's got some pretty good HP over here. I think we have enough power to get this down before we get the second Big Bang. We'll see how it plays out, though.
And we do have that curse ring on Rosa, I believe, so the should be at least reasonably anchored.
Yep, should be pretty close. If you're a little under 28, you can probably use like a ninja hat or maybe a the arty bow to get her up to 28 if she's not can't get her down to 15 or 14 or less with the curse ring.
I mean, the fight seems to be fairly well paced, so I don't think Matic is at a bad agility spot. If Matic was at a bad agility spot like 26, 27, this would just be going all out of control.
So true. Kind of looks are going out on Fu there to get some more nuke MP. We got another shake coming up.
Does Matic still have a chance to get this under 2 hours?
Still a chance, I think.
I mean, I guess it's a matter of okay. There's rocks.
Oh, we do have rocks. Can't run. Okay, so it's possible this might go down before 2 hours is up. And there's the snap, crackle, and the boom. So that's GG for Matic. And it looks like the time is probably just shy of 2 hours. Let me go back to my thing here. 1 hour, 59 minutes, 55 seconds.
Yeah, that was a fairly brutal seed with a lot of really nasty, hard required stuff. So good job. Glad you rolled it.
What was my reaction to this thing here? Let's see. What did I say here? My reaction was, what the heck did I roll? Hard required Earthless Zot at hard required Sylph, and Underground Axes find Baigan at Ordeals, and Darkest Mind Fabul gone at the top of the tower. Whoop.
Yeah. So it's lots of fun. Good time for all.
Indeed. They'd probably ban me from running Rolling Seeds if it wasn't my club.
Okay, so Nurkat is now at the Mega Sisters fight.
Yeah, it looks like there was some confusion over altars from what Niraka is telling us in the chat. Let's see. So, let's see. All those Mega Sisters is going on. We can always look at the spoiler log on Matic's side and see where this Harp was sitting along with the Pinktail, and even though we're not going to hear the music tonight.
I mean, they're both going to be Lunar Chess, right? That's the only options left.
Also, shout out to Help being in the seed name. That's kind of funny.
I guess Pinktail could be at Cave Magnus behind the Twin Harp that is on the moon.
True. We'll find out the mystery in just a moment here.
24 out of 34 bosses.
Yeah, 119 boxes, which is probably about typical for when you're on a box hunt, as it were.
Okay, Nurkat has the crystal and is already at the LC, just needs to take the few extra steps.
Crystal Sword, Bahamut Orb, Womp Womp. No Swag Walk, we're going to go back and save just in case. There was that Pinktail.
So Pinktail was behind Twin Harp?
Looks like.
Also, do I get credit for cursing the seed after it was run for mentioning Flame Dog so often in the beginning?
Oh, sure, why not? We'll spread some blame around here so that the racers don't dislike me as much, right? I rolled some really nasty ones in this club season.
I mean, to be fair, the flags you've been given to roll haven't been like very like sunshine and rainbows either. So I think your runners deserve some blame for, you know, putting themselves into this.
That's definitely true. I think I've had about 4 or 5 different runners pick flags over the course of this season, so it's definitely been interesting to say the least. Okay, we're about to get Z take 2 over on Neurocod's side. Looking for an LST location to show up here on the Maddox side to figure out where this Twin Harp is sitting.
I mean, even if we see the chest, it doesn't tell us which of the bosses inside the chest or monsters inside the chest we'd actually have to fight to get it. It could be Bimmy and Jimmy.
Well, it's in lore. It's always Bimmy and Jimmy if you haven't seen it. It's like every chest you don't open is an adamant. All right, so Okada is getting underway with the fight. Let's see. Takes a nuke to the face.
Here we go.
Oh, okay. It's one of these boxes on the way down.
Yeah, so that would be out of the way. Probably not necessarily fun fight. And then it would lead you on a wild goose chase to the pink tail, it sounds like.
Probably. Although this is one of those things where as long as you do all of your moon objectives for coming to the... all of your Earth objectives for coming to the moon, you'll never run into this problem.
Yeah,
it's one of those speeds where you get punished for an early moon play, as it turns out. Because the moon was not required for anything other than just simply the
ribbon room.
Oh, it had the legend sword too. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. My mind is going tonight. My goodness. Okay, so both racers, even though they took some divergence, they ended up with the same party in the end. They're both doing hybrid strats to get through. It looks like it's pretty well in hand at this point. I would say the biggest difference between the two of them really was that Neurocod had a lot less early power, and it was those wipes in the Baron Inn that were kind of most of the difference, I think, in this one.
Yeah, there were a few mistakes that Matic made. Definitely, you know, the early moon play, or not early moon play, but, you know, not full clearing Earth and checking the dog first was a mistake, but in the end, it wasn't insurmountable. I think there was also the Golbez fight and a few other fights where Matic might not have needed to take them, but did anyway. But all in all, it was a nasty seed, and they both, got through it. So that's, more than I could say, because I probably would have given up after a bit.
I think the fastest finisher of anybody who actually ran this is 148.09.
Yeah, I mean, it was required Fable Gauntlet. It was required Mauer Deals. They required Flame Dog. So there was like plenty that you had to absolutely do.
Yep, and we got a shake on Z here. Direct nuke to try and nerf the second Big Bang.
Rocks.
I guess that that tipped it into the next phase. So rocks. Rosa, you fail. Come on, dodge these rocks.
Yeah, there we go. Just
Crack,
need
bang, boom. All right. GG.
Yeah, GG's to both our runners, and yeah, that just needed a couple more taps on the, to get it down. But we're, both runners done. We said it was pretty nasty seed you rolled there, so good job.
I gained a little bit of reputation, I think, with this season for doing some pretty nasty seeds. I wouldn't even say this is the worst we've had all season yet. And of course, we still have playoffs to go, and the seeds are going to be even harder than they are now because there are still 2 more flag selections to be made here. And based on the feedback that I had, regular season winner and the second place finisher in points both get to make a choice. And the choice was made to defer that until after the elimination vote was revealed. Because apparently, I guess the character that's staying or leaving is going to inform what the choices are going to be made.
Okay, so after this, there's only going to be 5 characters in the seed?
There will be 5 characters in the pool for the 5 playoff races, and your party size is 4. So the question is, which one do you drop in each case? So each hero is going to get 1 run. I've done is I've thrown together 7 objective packages, as it were, and those are given titles along the lines of $100,000 pyramid. So the quests are we there yet? I'm free. I'm shocked. Let's make a deal. One born from a dragon. Last traitor on the left. And you Spoony Bard. So the races will be picking those. Both will be wackies involved in the feed as well. I've picked 7 of those, stuck them in an envelope, and put 1 word on them to sort of either hint at it or misdirect in terms of what it is. Those are Dune, which is blue envelope, Aaron, which is the yellow envelope, Lucy, which is the red envelope, Muon, which is purple, Pokemon, which is orange. No, there's no orange Pokemon, but go with it anyways. Show, which is green, and Stream, which is white. So, again, races having fun with that. There'll be votes in the Discord in terms of which hero is going to go. Community gets to vote on that. So, yeah, it's gonna be a fun little bit of random combinations there. We're gonna find out who the last hero is voted out. So, I have 7 racers who are qualified to vote this time around. So there can't be any ties when you've only got 2 heroes and 7 people to vote on. So first up, we had Tall Grant, who told me to get rid of Rosa. Okay, a bit of hatred of white mages going on here. Then we had BG Rich come in and vote for Edge. We had Eru Atlas also go for Edge. And we have Matic himself, the winner of the seed, go, at least on stream, go for Edge as well. At this point, we're at 3 Edges, we're at 1 Rosa. And then Jazer came by and said to vote out Rosa. Okay, 3-2. And then Nirokad said to vote out Rosa. Now we're tied, 3-3. We came down to the last vote, as it turns out. And the last vote was actually from our restreamer, who gave one of these 2 races a run. Thank you for dipping the toe in, giving us a try. Rydia Caller. There was a clap on stream, that's hilarious. Rydia Caller chose to dump Rosa in this case. So we have no true white mage going into the finals. We have Fu as the only source of healing. There's not even a Iridia to give us a Shura. So you better find Fu or your day is going to be a little bit rough. Go for some Cure 3s or elixirs, folks. All right. Fu and Chemists. Oh, yeah, very good. Once again, I told you that my racers are masochists. I did not think that Edge was going to win this one, but surprise, surprise, we don't have any real white mages, and we have no users of heroine robes either. So all the heroine robes next feed, you deserve it. uh,
So our final pool is going to be Mr. Average Kane, the Murder Child Palom, Edge the Ninja, Mr. Punch Mage himself, Yang, and then our Mop Fu.
yep, those are the 5. Pick 4. Whichever 4 you happen to see, I guess. And I'm sure that since you've taken a new job, Joker, as being Golbez's assistant, you'll be helping set up some of these challenges somewhere along the way, right?
I haven't been given my full set of instructions yet, except for dress warmly, and I have to pay for my own lunches, apparently.
You also have to pay for your own armor, too, and everything else. I mean, this is a very low-budget production, I'm sorry. You also have to pay for your own coffin, just a little bit of, just in case there, you know.
Oh, well, I think in that case, I may just try the Lost in the Woods method.
You can always try that, that's true.
Or just get eaten by a dragon. Then they don't need a coffin.
You know, a little tip there, if you're giving Shadow a walk, just make sure you're never next to more than one other person, because it gets hungry if it sees 3 or more on the screen. But if there's only 2 in the neighborhood, it won't eat anybody. You don't want to eat it yourself either, so, you know, just be careful walking it.
I mean, is the armor I'm getting to rent adamant armor?
Do we look like we have a million gold to spare on this thing? No.
Okay, I was afraid of that and probably should have expected that.
You're probably getting shadow armor, if even anything like that.
I mean, is there a spare ribbon I can have with that, or is that also not in budget?
Again, Golbez's lawyer brother has kind of been putting these, yeah, he's been counting the beans very, very tight on this thing.
I mean, I probably should have known, because those 50 bestiaries that were given out, like I didn't have the budget to buy actual bestiaries for the production, so I ended up just downloading the bestiary PDF off of the Final Fantasy IV wiki and printing that out using the CPU's printer.
Yeah, we also have decaffeinated coffee, apparently, so that should tell you something about the level of expense being spent on this production.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely am looking forward to like what these mystery colored, weirdly named packet flag sets of yours are.
Remember, the colored envelopes are actually the wacky flag, just the wacky flag. So I picked 7 of them. Racers will have to hope that I'm going more for fun than punishment. Spoiler, I probably am, because I have to race these things too. And nobody wants to see something along the lines of probably, what's the worst one here? I could think of battle scars or something like that. That would probably not be fun.
I mean, given the track record of the people who have raced in this so far, they might be up for that.
This is why you sometimes foreclose certain options. There's a reason why, for example, what flag did I not put on here? Yeah, certain flags you just don't give them. You know, for example, I think K unsafe, B unsafe, those were not really options in this. Well, I think B unsafe might have been, but K unsafe wasn't. Someone would probably pick that. And then we just have to suffer the rest of the season, you know.
Yeah, when I was hired for this, I was told that I was going to be working for college credit. And I mentioned that I already graduated, and that didn't seem to dissuade Mr. Golbez from still insisting that I get paid in college credit. So I'm not sure where I can use those credits.
Well, the School of Life might take them possibly. Also, possibly the School of Magic might take it.
I don't know if the School of Life takes any credits.
Well, eventually it will flunk you no matter what you do. So, I mean, that's just the way it kind of goes there. But you can get ahead for a little while.
I mean, I also told him that I'd be willing to work for exposure, and he insisted that I go like into the some of the top of the mountains wearing just t-shirts and shorts. So I think he didn't understand what I meant by exposure.
Um, I think he does. Watch what happens in the next week here as you get your staff notes. Um, Good setup for the playoffs during the middle of the bye here, and I have to get the last of the flags out and all that kind of fun stuff. And then Golbez has to actually do some work for a change. Uh, Lords are very lazy. What can you do?
I
All
mean, I
right.
have been fielding a lot of calls from his lawyer relatives, basically just telling them that he's currently out or unavailable or using the restroom or has the plague, whatever excuse that I can come up with to just so he doesn't have to actually talk to them.
Ah, all right. You're learning already here as a little assist. You might work out after all for him. Never know. We'll get Golbez in probably to chat more about this next time around. He is a little bit under the weather tonight, though, just because he's a little bit under the weather, I should say, I guess, with the whole 8 night thing and still not having any love interests of his own here and kind of a little bit bummed about that.
And I imagine his brother spent a lot of time complaining about taking away his girlfriend.
We won't get into family matters here with the Golbez folks. It gets a little bit heated at times. All right. So, anything else from you here, Joker Mage? Or I think we're about ready to wrap it up,
No, I
right?
probably have to go actually order DoorDash for Mr. Golbez now, so we should probably get done so I can get on that.
Right. I'm sure that other people are also looking to get some DoorDash. So, anyways, once again, I'm Garen, the club captain of the Survivor Hero Island Club. Also, occasionally playing Golbez when the mood suits. Thank you once again to Joker Mage, the newest apprentice Dark Lord coming up here. Anything from Mr. Golbez here, as he says, and we'll see him probably later in the production in the playoffs. Thanks again to Iridia Caller for hosting the VOD review and for Gretham for doing all of the tracking. Thank you all for joining us. It's always a blast to see you here. We'll see you next time on Survivor Hero Island in about 2 weeks for the first of the playoff matchups. It'll be fun. Have a good night, all.